She discovered a life-changing love part 2 unexpectedly transformed in 30 days. In the heart of Maplewood, where the sun cast a warm glow on the quaint streets and laughter danced through the air, Emily felt the weight of the world pressing down on her. A scraping sound echoed as she pulled the door shut behind her, ready to battle another day at work. Bills piled high on her kitchen table, each one a stark reminder that her dreams of being an artist were slowly crumbling. Yet amidst the chaos there was Lucy. Her daughter's giggles rang like a bell in Emily's heart, igniting a flicker of hope in dark times, a reminder of brighter days that felt so far away. As Emily volunteered at the local community center that fateful afternoon, she met Jake, a local veteran with a passion for the arts that mirrored her own. Something about his soulful eyes and the way he spoke ignited spark after spark within her. They laughed together, shared stories of struggles, and for the first time in years, Emily felt seen. It was a promise of connection, an unconditional thread woven through their love for art, echoing an unspoken understanding. But as their friendship bloomed, so too did the whispers of discontent from Maplewood's tightly knit community. The townsfolk's gazes were heavy with judgment. The stigma surrounding Jake, branded by his past, rippled through the air like a shadow. Emily's heart twisted with conflict. Would her long-buried feelings toward her estranged mother, the woman who had left her wanting more, break free and taint this newfound connection? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the day of the community art show approached, Emily's heart raced with anticipation and dread. She poured her soul into the event, desperate to unite the town in acceptance. But her dreams felt fragile. Debilitating hiccups sprung up everywhere, unsettling her balance. Misunderstandings turned neighbors into critics. She found herself teetering on the edge of despair. Would her art and what she cared for crumble under the collective weight of scrutiny? Then came the night of the show, full of promise but shrouded in tension. Standing before her community, Emily's heart thundered in her chest. The murmurs danced predatorily around her. Who does she think she is? She'll always be a victim. Memories of her mother fluttered painfully in her mind, pressing her to take a daring step forward. With a shaky breath, she readied her heart for what lay ahead. It was now or never. Would she have the courage to stand tall for love, acceptance, and the life-changing bond she had discovered? Or would she sink back into the shadows of doubt and despair? As the unveiling approached, an uninvited confrontation ignited the air, forcing Emily to confront her deepest fears. Will love prevail amidst prejudice? Will she rise above the chaos, reclaim her story? Or will the past threaten to consume them once more? The crowd fell silent, awaiting her next move. Her heart raced. This was not just art anymore. This was her life hanging in the balance. Emily felt the heat of the spotlight, not just from the stage lights above but from the piercing gazes of the crowd. For an instant she was paralyzed, her past swirling around her like a tempest. Doubt crept in, whispering venomous thoughts that curled like smoke in her mind. What if everyone was right? What if she was just chasing a dream that would forever slip through her fingers? The tension wrapped around her heart, squeezing tightly. But then Lucy's laughter flitted through her memory, a sweet reminder of innocence untainted by the world. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with courage and the scent of paint mixed with excitement. The thrumming energy of the crowd began to dissolve the chains of fear. She had come too far to allow doubt to win now. As she stepped forward, a soft voice broke through her reverie. It was Jake, standing at the edge of the stage, his gaze steady and unwavering. He nodded, a simple gesture that ignited a fire within her. With a newfound determination, she squared her shoulders. This was her moment, not just for her art, but for all who dared to love against the odds. With a voice that carried both fragility and strength, Emily began to speak. This isn't just about the art up here. It's about the stories we carry, the love that defies limits. The crowd shifted, some leaning in, others exchanging hesitant looks. I'm not just showcasing my work. I'm sharing a piece of myself just as Jake has shared his heart with me. We are not defined by our pasts but by our choices today. The murmurs grew louder, a wave of unease rippling through the audience. But Emily pressed on, the weight on her chest lifting with every word. Every stroke of paint, every captured moment is a testament to resilience, to the belief that transformation is possible. A flicker of recognition passed through the crowd. Emily could see its small gestures of understanding, eyes softening. But in the back a voice erupted, cutting through the air like a knife. You can't make a monster into a hero. The words were heavy, dripping with disdain. Emily's heart sank momentarily, but she wrestled with her fear, urging herself to stay present. Monsters? Emily responded, her voice steady now. We've all battled our monsters, whether they're inside us or from the outside world. Jake is not just a label. He is a person who loves art just as much as I do. Just like all of you do. Ice and tea that worth fighting for. The room was silent, a fragile moment hanging in the air. She faced the audience, vulnerability radiating from her. If we can't accept each other as stories, how can we ever hope to rise above? Jake stepped forward, his presence grounding her. We each wear our scars, but together, those scars can create something beautiful. His voice was rich with conviction, and a low ripple of applause began to spread. Hope flickered anew in Emily's heart, igniting her passion for the art that connected them. Maybe, just maybe, she could inspire a change within her community. But the challenge was far from over. Would this be enough to break the cycle of judgment that loomed so heavily over them both? Then another figure emerged from the back. It was someone unexpected. A familiar face, the last person she anticipated standing in support. The crowd gasped and Emily's breath caught in her throat. Would this sudden appearance lead to acceptance or further division? As she stood there waiting for clarity, she could only hope for another chance at love and forgiveness. What would happen next? Emily's heart raced as she strained to see through the crowd. The familiar face became clearer, a face she hadn't seen in years. A face that once held so much love and promise. Mom. The word came out as a whisper, barely escaping her lips, yet it felt like an explosion in the room. Some in the crowd turned toward the voice. Whispers cascaded through the audience, curiosity blending with disbelief. Emily's gaze locked onto her mother, who stood frozen at the back of the room. Time painted the lines on her face, years of battles fought alone, of choices made without her daughter by her side. The familiar warmth of their bond felt distant, yet it was alive in that instant, a flicker of something they hadn't shared in so long. Emily, her mother finally said, her voice trembling. It was laced with years of longing, regret, and a hesitance that made Emily's heart ache. I didn't think you'd come. Emily stammered, a mix of joy and trepidation flooding her voice. She took a small step forward, but the distance felt monumental. You're brave standing up there like that, her mom replied, and Emily could see a hint of pride in her eyes. I didn't know you were hurting so much. The air in the room grew thick with unspoken words, the tension palpable. People shifted, some scoffing at the emotional display, others genuinely intrigued. Emily could feel both judgments watching, ready to rip the moment apart. But this wasn't about the crowd. This was about her, about them. Mom, I've been trying to find my voice, to be who I am. Not just the girl you once knew. Emily swallowed hard, memories of their last fight surfacing like unwelcome guests. You left? And I didn't understand. I still don't. As soon as she finished, an unexpected wave of silence washed over the crowd. The murmurs faded, leaving space only for their shared history, raw and vulnerable. I know, her mother sighed, taking a step forward, the light haloing around her like a last drop of hope. I made mistakes, I was afraid. I'm so sorry for everything. For leaving you alone when you needed me the most. Emily's breath caught again, her mother's admission sparked a rush of emotions. Anger, pain, and a deep-rooted yearning for reconciliation tangled together, each tugging at her heart. You should have reached out. I felt so lost. We've both been lost, her mom replied, tears forming in her eyes. But maybe, just maybe, we don't have to be that way anymore. The crowd watched, their previous tension replaced by an unexpected intrigue. Their hearts drawn into the spectacle of a long-buried connection, inching towards resurrection. Emily could feel Jake's hand slip into hers, a gentle but steady reminder of support, grounding her as her mother's familiar eyes searched her own. Emily, her mother continued. I want to understand. All these years I see what you're creating now. It's beautiful. I want to know you. I can't change the past, but I would like to be here now if you let me. Her words hung in the air, heavy with hope and uncertainty. For the first time in ages, the possibility of healing felt tangible, almost within reach. But could she truly let the past go? Could forgiveness be as transformative as the art she poured her heart into? With a shaky breath, Emily met her mother's gaze. Every heartbeat echoed the weight of this moment, a crossroads that could begin a new chapter or lead to further heartbreak. She felt the crowd holding its collective breath, waiting for a choice to emerge from this emotional reckoning. Can we start over? Emily asked, the words tasting both sweet and bitter as she opened herself to the possibilities, letting go of the fear that had gripped her for so long. As her mother nodded, something shifted in the atmosphere. There was acceptance, not just from Emily's heart but rippling through the audience, as they too began to sense the magic of transformation unfolding before them. But just as the spark of hope ignited, a loud voice broke through once more, this time more aggressive and accusatory. What does that even mean? Is this just a game for you? Emily's heart sank again, the walls of judgment beginning to close in. She turned towards the voice with trepidation, the warmth of forgiveness and hope suddenly feeling threatened. What would it take to silence the echo of doubt once and for all? And what would happen next? The piercing question hung in the air like thunder, reverberating through the crowd. Emily's stomach twisted as she rounded to face the source, her heart racing. A tall woman with sharp features and an assertive stance stood near the front. Her arms were crossed, skepticism etched across her face. Emily had never seen her before, but the hostility radiating from her felt personal. Who are you to decide what's real or not? Jake's voice broke through, protective. He squeezed Emily's hand tighter, his supportive warmth a lifeline amidst the rising tension. I'm just saying what everyone here is thinking. The woman snapped back, eyes flaring with challenge. The crowd murmured, some nodding along while others frowned. This isn't a fairy tale. You can't just write a new story overnight and expect the past to disappear. Emily felt anger flare inside of her, matched with the fear that this confrontation could derail everything she had just begun to build with her mother. I'm not asking for a miracle, she shot back, her voice shaking but firm. I'm asking for a chance. To talk. To heal. The crowd seemed to waver between support and skepticism, the tension crackling in the air. Emily searched desperately for something grounding, her gaze falling back on her mom. The older woman looked frail, yet her eyes burned with determination. Listen, her mother began, stepping forward as if shielding Emily from the hostility. I understand we cannot forget the past, nor should we. But I don't want to stay stuck. I want to know my daughter and be a part of her life. Life offers second chances and I'm asking for mine. The stark honesty of her mother's words delivered a quiet but powerful impact. There were whispers again, but this time they began to soften, edging towards empathy. The woman didn't seem convinced. Her brows knitted together. And what happens when you mess up again? You think this is just about you too? What about everyone else she's counting on? You can't just waltz back in. The words stung, igniting the deep-rooted insecurities swirling inside Emily. You don't understand, she replied, a tremor of desperation creeping into her voice. This is my life. My heart. I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't do it alone. Maybe it won't be perfect, she swallowed hard. But I'd rather risk that than live with this emptiness. Her declaration seemed to hang in the room, the audience caught between disbelief and reluctant admiration. Could vulnerability truly pierce through skepticism? I'm not asking for perfection, just honesty, her mom added, her voice steady, seeking to bridge the gap between Emily's raw honesty and the woman's accusatory tone. Let me show you I am changed. Emily bit her lip, holding her breath, as glimmers of understanding flickered in the eyes around her. Jake breathed beside her, signaling his unwavering support. But there was still so much uncertainty. As the confrontation simmered down, the woman's hardened stare softened momentarily. I guess we will see, she muttered, and the crowd shifted uneasily. But the moment of peace was fleeting. A sudden commotion erupted at the back of the room. Someone shouted, drawing all eyes in that direction, a new commotion that could shift everything once more. What now? Emily whispered to Jake, dread creeping back in. But as she turned to him, she caught a glimpse of something equally alarming. Her mother's face had paled. The look in her eyes transformed from determination to fear. "Emily," her mother whispered, barely audible yet filled with a weight of impending revelation. A chill ran down Emily's spine. What was about to unfold that had her mom so shaken? Every ounce of her longing for connection, for understanding, hung in the balance as she faced the unknown. What fresh chaos would threaten this fragile step toward reconciliation? And who else might be involved in this web of secrets waiting to be unraveled? The new commotion intensified, drowning out the murmurs of disbelief and concern. Emily's heart raced as she turned toward the source of the noise. It was a man tall and imposing, his face flushed with anger. He pushed through the crowd, eyes darting around like he was searching for someone. "Where is she?" he shouted, voice heavy with desperation. The crowd parted like the sea, whispers growing louder. This was clearly a person of importance. "Who is that?" Jake murmured beside Emily, worry etched across his face. Emily didn't recognize him, but something about his presence felt alarmingly familiar. Her mother's expression twisted with unease, and without thinking, Emily reached for her mom's hand. "Mom, what is going on?" she asked, though she could feel panic bubbling underneath. "Emily, please just hold on," her mother stammered, glancing nervously at the approaching man. The fear in her voice felt like a crack in the fragile reunion they had started to piece together. The man's eyes finally landed on them, piercing through the crowd. "Is she here? I need to talk to her," he demanded. "Talk to who?" Emily's voice trembled, mixing confusion with mounting dread. A part of her wanted to flee, to escape this uncomfortable pursuit that felt both unsettling and deeply tied to her past. "Her name is Sarah. She is my sister." The declaration hung in the air, weighty and shocking. Emily felt her heart drop. Sarah. The name echoed through her like a distant memory she couldn't grasp. She looked at her mom, who visibly stiffened, the color draining further from her face. "Your sister?" Emily's voice cracked. "Mom, I didn't know you had a sister. I didn't want to tell you," her mother stammered, fingers trembling around Emily's tight grip. "It's complicated. I thought it was best to keep that part of my past hidden." As she spoke, the man took a step forward, tense and demanding. He didn't back down. "She deserves to know the truth. Sarah didn't just disappear, she was taken from us. You have to explain why you left." The air thickened with agitation, emotions spiraling as the crowd oscillated between shock and curiosity. Emily's breath quickened. If her mother had a sister, then what did that mean for all the stories she grew up with? Did she have more family out there? And why had her mother chosen to keep this hidden? Jake squeezed her hand tighter, his eyes wide with concern. Just like that, everything was unraveling again. Emily felt the room spin as the truth loomed over them like a dark cloud. "Who are you?" Emily pressed, her voice stronger now, trying to reclaim control over the storm erupting around her. "Why do you want to talk about her?" "Because she deserves to know." The man shot back, fury and pain fueling his voice. "You think you can pick up where you left off while her life was shattered?" The accusation hit Emily like a slap. She felt suddenly exposed, stripped of the new hope that had been building just moments ago. Before she could respond, her mother turned and faced her, desperation shining in her eyes. "Emily, please, you don't understand the whole story. Then tell me, what's going on? Why all these secrets?" Emily's world felt like it was fracturing, the foundations of her fledgling relationship with her mother warping under the weight of revelations yet to come. As silence slithered through the gathering, the man's melancholy eyes reflected the chaos of loss. "Because I can't let you walk into this without knowing everything." His words hung between them as Emily grappled with more questions than ever before. What skeletons lay hidden in the past, and how many more were still left to uncover? And would the truth actually set her free? Or would it bring everything crashing down around her? The tension in the air was suffocating. Emily's mind raced, her heart pounding wildly in her chest. She looked from the man to her mother, searching for answers in their expressions. The crowd, sensing the gravity of the moment, had fallen silent, their eyes fixed on the unfolding drama. "Emily," her mother said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I never wanted you to find out like this. I didn't know that he would show up. Why did you keep this from me?" Emily demanded, anger and confusion swirling within her. You always told me everything. Why is this so different? The man stepped forward, his tall figure casting a shadow over them. Because it's not just about her sister, he said, urgency lacing his tone. It's about a life that was stolen. Sarah's life, your life. You have to understand what happened. Stolen? Emily echoed, the word echoing in her ears like a haunting melody. What do you mean? Her mother's breathing grew shallow. I thought I was protecting you, she said. When Sarah disappeared, I had to make a choice. I thought I could shield you from the pain. Shield me? Or keep me in the dark? Emily couldn't help but feel betrayed. I thought we were building something real, but if you've been lying, no, it wasn't. Lies, Emily. Her mother interjected, desperation creeping into her voice. It was survival. I was scared we were scared. What happened to Sarah? Emily asked, each word trembling with a mix of fear and curiosity. The man shifted nervously, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. She was taken by someone who thought they could manipulate the situation. The authorities thought it was a runaway, but it was so much more than that. His voice broke slightly as he continued. I've spent years trying to piece together the fragments of a shattered family. You deserve to know what really happened. Emily's breath hitched as she recognized the weight of his words. This wasn't just about a lost sister. It was about a whole life filled with missing pieces. A life that had been overshadowed by fear and secrecy. Why should I trust you? She asked, her voice trembling. I've never even met you. Because I loved Sarah, he replied, his expression softening. And all I want is to bring her back to our family. And if you're her blood, you have every right to know her story. The anger simmering in Emily's chest began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of longing. What if her mother had kept this secret to protect her? What if she had kept a piece of her heart tucked away all along? Please, the man urged, reaching out as if to bridge the distance between them. Let me tell you everything. You deserve the truth. Her mother's grip tightened on Emily's hand. We can face this together. But only if you're ready. The air was thick with anticipation, and Emily felt herself teetering on the precipice of discovery. Questions danced in her mind, swirling around the implications of what lay ahead. The shadows of the past beckoned, and she needed to decide if she was brave enough to step into the light. As thoughts raced through her mind, a new determination flickered within her. Okay, she said, voice steadying. Tell me everything. I need to understand. Just as the man opened his mouth to speak, a loud crash erupted from the back of the crowd, drawing everyone's attention. Gasps echoed and Emily turned, anxiety erupting again in her gut. What now? Through the shifting sea of faces she tried to focus. This moment had become a whirlwind of emotions and unresolved mysteries, and now it threatened to spiral into chaos once more. What else could be lurking in the shadows of her past? And would the truth finally break the barriers her mother built, or deepen the divide? The crowd parted like a wave, revealing a frantic figure pushing through. It was a young woman, her face pale and stricken with fear. Emily's heart raced as she recognized the fear in her eyes. It was the same fear she had felt when the man's presence loomed. Emily, you have to come with me, the woman shouted, her voice trembling with urgency. It's about Sarah. What? Emily took a step back, confusion flooding her mind. Who are you? What do you know about her? The woman glanced around, panic evident in her movements. I can't explain here. They're looking for you. For all of us. Her eyes darted to the man beside Emily, then back to her. Please trust me. We don't have much time. The man turned toward the woman, his expression hardening. Who sent you? How do you know about Sarah? Enough. Emily interjected, her voice shaking but firm. Just tell me what's happening. The woman took a deep breath, steadying herself. I've been tracking the people who took her. I thought I lost the trail, but they're still out there. They want to silence anyone who knows. Everyone felt the weight of her words sink into the atmosphere, a collective gasp rising from the crowd. Emily's heart thumped loudly, drowning out everything else. Silence. What does that mean? What do they want with us? Answers, the woman replied. They think you know something you don't. Something about where Sarah could be. Emily felt suddenly dizzy. I don't know anything. My mother, she turned to her mother, seeking validation. But her mother's face was drawn tight, The color drained from her cheeks as realization washed over her. Emily, we have to move, her mother urged, gripping her arm tightly. If what she says is true, we're not safe here. Safe? Emily could hardly comprehend. What are we afraid of? A loud shout erupted behind them. A large man in a dark coat was pushing through the crowd, his expression fierce and determined. The crowd parted again, sensing something ominous. We found her, he called out, locking eyes with Emily. You need to come with me now. No, the woman cried, urgency erupting in her tone. Stay away from her. Emily felt frozen in place, uncertainty gripping her. Shadows closed in around her, the world narrowing down to a single point. She glanced back at her mother, who looked torn between fear and fierce protectiveness. Emily, trust your instincts, her mother urged, trembling slightly. Whatever happens, don't let them take you. But doubt filled her. Was following the woman a chance for freedom, or a trap? Did she dare step toward the danger, or stick to familiar shadows? The man stepped closer, his jaw set in determination. We can't lose her. We can't let them take her again. An electric silence filled the air as Emily faced both paths, a world of chaos surrounding her. She felt the weight of decisions heavy on her chest, the cries of Emily ringing in her ears. Did she even know the truth? And how far would she risk everything to save a sister she never knew? With desperation clawing at her heart, a brave thought ignited within. I'll go with you, she shouted to the woman. I want to know. Just as the crowd began to react, a blaring siren pierced the tension, sending everyone into a flurry of movement. The moment erupted into chaos, and Emily's heart raced. She was pulled in multiple directions, torn between the urgency of her decision and the looming threat encroaching upon them. Would she embrace her past, or be swallowed by the shadows forever? With the sirens echoing in her ears, Emily made her choice, but had she just walked into a bigger danger? Emily's heart thundered in her chest as the pandemonium erupted around her. People shouted and surged like waves in a stormy sea, their faces a blur of panic and desperation. The woman's hand gripped her tightly, pulling her forward. This way, she urged, her voice barely heard over the cacophony. Emily glanced back at her mother, who was looking frantically to and fro, filled with an overwhelming fear. Mom! She cried, but the crowd was too thick. She felt a suffocating sense of loss creeping in as the distance between them grew. Stay or go. Her instincts screamed for her to follow. The sirens blared louder, a menacing wail that pierced through the chaos. The man in the dark coat was getting closer, his eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her skin crawl. We're running out of time, he shouted, pushing through the crowd, drawing nearer. The woman pulled Emily into a narrow alleyway, the air cooler and quieter, a temporary refuge from the chaos outside. They leaned against the cold brick, heavy breaths mingling with the tense gloom. Are you okay? The woman asked, her hand still gripping Emily's shoulders. No. Emily exhaled, her frustration climbing. What is happening? Why are they after me? Listen, the woman said urgently. I don't know if I can explain everything now, but your sister Sarah, she was taken because of what she knows about our parents, about their past. It's dangerous, and now they believe you might hold the same answers. Emily's mind raced as she processed the words. How can this be happening? I don't know anything. She felt the walls closing in, the reality tightening around her like a noose. The woman's face softened with understanding. You have to believe me. They want to erase anyone who could connect the dots. We need to get to a safe place. Your mother, where's my mother? Emily interrupted, panic surging again. They're trying to find her too. We can't linger here. The woman's voice was soothing yet urgent, a strange juxtaposition that held Emily's attention. We need to act quickly. No. Emily shook her head furiously. I can't leave her behind. I want tea. The warrior spirit in her surged forward with every heartbeat, fueled by fear and love. At that moment, the alley echoed with heavy footsteps. The dark-coated man was approaching, his silhouette emerging from the chaotic crowd. Emily could see the determination on his face, and it ignited a spark of anger inside her. Emily, he called, his voice commanding. Don't run. It's too late for that, she spat back, narrowing her eyes. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Before she could think further, the woman tugged at her sleeve. Trust me. We have to go now. With a quick breath, Emily turned to face the woman. I'll go with you, but I want to leave my mom. Not without a plan. The woman hesitated, weighing her options. Fine. Let us regroup with my contacts. They can help us find your mother. An explosive clash resounded from the entrance of the alley, breaking the moment. Fear seized Emily's chest as she realized they were surrounded. We have to move now. Without waiting for her, the woman sprinted to the back of the alley. Emily's heart pounded as she followed, the stakes climbing with every step they took away from safety. The fear was palpable, and yet the adrenaline pushed her forward. They had one chance to uncover the truth, whatever the cost. But as Emily ran, the thought echoed through her mind. Was this really about finding Sarah? Or was she now trapped in a web spun by new secrets? The choice had been made, and there was no turning back. The only question remaining was whether the answers waiting for her were worth the risk. Emily's legs moved instinctively, propelling her through the alley. The woman, whose name Emily still didn't know, led the charge with a palpable urgency. Each breath felt sharp and frantic as they turned the corner and veered down another narrow passageway, guided only by the soft glow of flickering streetlights. Where are we going? Emily panted, her throat dry with fear. To a safe house, the woman replied, glancing over her shoulder. I promise we'll figure everything out there. We can't just leave, Mom. Emily exclaimed, her voice trembling. Her heart felt like a weight pulling her down, threatening to drown her. She wanted to fight, to scream, but the words stuck in her throat like thick mud. No one is leaving anyone behind, the woman assured her, eyes fierce. But right now your safety is what matters. Keep moving. Every footstep echoed the chaos of the world outside, but here it was quieter, almost eerie. Shadows danced along the walls, and Emily's mind was a tempest of confusion and fear. She couldn't shake the image of her mother's frantic expression, a haunting reminder of everything at stake. Suddenly a shout pierced the silence. They went this way. It was the dark-coated man's voice. His tone held an edge, calm, confident. Emily's stomach dropped into her shoes. They found us, she gasped, panic clawing at her. No. The woman gripped her arm tightly, steering her towards a rusted fire escape. We'll go up. Are you crazy? Emily's instinct said to stay low, to hide. But she saw the resolve in the woman's eyes and nodded, scrambling after her. They climbed, breathing heavy, their hearts pounding in unison, until they reached the roof. The night sky spread above them, a blanket of stars that felt impossibly distant from their reality. The chaos faded into muted echoes below, yet Emily's heart raced with fear and adrenaline. They crouched behind a vent, the cool metal prickling against her skin. We need to call someone, the woman whispered, rummaging through her bag. Just hold on tight. While the woman concentrated on her phone, Emily took a moment to survey the landscape, a maze of rooftops and alleys, with creeping clouds obscuring the moon. Despite the adrenaline coursing through her, questions swirled like smoke in her mind. What does Sarah know? Emily finally dared to ask, her voice almost lost in the wind. The woman lifted her gaze, and for a brief moment, the intensity gave way to sadness. She knew things about our parents' past, things better left buried. Emily felt a shiver run down her spine. What if I am just like her? What if they want me for answers I don't even have? The woman shook her head. That's precisely the problem. They believe you might have the key, but I promise we'll protect you. None of this is your fault. Before Emily could respond, a bright light suddenly illuminated the rooftop, bathing them in its glow. They froze as the beams swept across every corner, pulsing through the air like a heart beating ominously. It's too late. They're here, the woman murmured. Emily's pulse quickened, her breath shallow and rapid. She felt an overwhelming urge to run, to get as far away as possible, yet she was paralyzed by fear. Trust me, the woman said, her fierce gaze boring into Emily's. When I say go, you need to jump down from this side of the building. Just trust me. As the light moved closer, Emily's heart raced wildly. Would she truly be able to trust this stranger? Was there no other option? But as dread settled deep within her gut, she knew one thing. She had to choose to fight, to leap, or to give in to the dark fear encroaching around them. Just then, the slamming of a door rang out from below. They were coming for her, but would she find the strength to jump into the unknown? Emily stood at the edge of the rooftop, her eyes darting between the swirling shadows below and the woman beside her, who was poised for action. Fear coiled tightly in her chest, but determination forced her to breathe deep. This was it. This was her chance not just for answers, but for a future unmarred by the ghosts of the past. "We have to go now," the woman urged, her voice slicing through the tension. With a quick nod, Emily pressed her lips together, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. She wouldn't let fear control her. She wasn't that little girl anymore. "Together?" she asked, locking eyes with the woman, who had already become a beacon of strength in the storm. "Together," she confirmed, and without another word they jumped. The ground rushed up in a blur. Emily's heart thundered as they hit the soft earth, rolling to disperse the impact. For a brief moment she lay there gasping in shock. But then the urgency kicked in. They scrambled up, looking for cover, fingers intertwined. "Over here," the woman shouted, directing Emily towards a narrow alleyway that led deeper into the labyrinth that constituted Maplewood at night. They dashed forward, racing away from the echoes of pursuit. Every heartbeat thudded like a drummer in her ears as they turned corners, weaving through the chaotic streets. Shadows flitted past, but Emily didn't look back. Each step propelled her deeper into uncharted territory, her fears giving way to hope. As they finally slowed, slipping into a quiet nook behind an abandoned shop, Emily leaned against the wall, breathless. "What now?" she managed, her voice shaky yet desperate for clarity. The woman pulled out her phone, flicking it to life. "We contact the people who can help us. They've been monitoring the situation longer than I have. Will they let my mother know I'm okay?" The thought of her mom filled her with a mix of longing and dread. Would she worry? Was she safe? "They will do everything they can. We need to focus on finding Sarah first." There was a fire burning in the woman's eyes that ignited something within Emily. A flicker of courage. "Let us do that then," she said, determination flooding her voice. "But what do we even look for? How do we find her?" "The clues all lead back to our parents' past. Answers lie in their connections." Her voice was steady, confidence cascading from her. Emily felt a newfound energy surge through her. "Then we start there. I want to know everything." "Good. We'll need to dig deep, but you've got the bravery to face this," the woman said, nodding in affirmation. Together they stepped back into the night, the darkness no longer a cage, but a canvas waiting for them to paint their truth. As they walked, every step became a healing note in a song of reawakening. The uncertainty that had once gripped Emily began to loosen its hold. She thought of Lucy, how her daughter would be proud of her bravery. Each stride propelled her further from the fears that had haunted her for too long. But as they maneuvered through the quiet streets, another presence loomed in the distance. A familiar figure stood at the corner, watching intently. Emily's heart raced as she recognized the tall man in the dark coat, the one who had demanded her attention before. He stepped closer, and Emily was startled to see his expression soften. "Emily, wait," he called, hands raised in a peaceful gesture. "I know you're scared, but I can help you. We need to talk." Before she could respond, the woman stepped protectively in front of her. "Who are you? Why were you chasing us?" "I'm not here to hurt you," he assured, voice steady. "I'm here to protect Emily. There's a lot you don't know about Sarah, and it's time for the truth." The air was thick with tension, but Emily's heart thumped with curiosity mixed with wariness. "Do you really know what happened?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, and you deserve to hear the full story. If you want answers, you need to trust me." The vulnerability in his eyes sparked something inside of Emily. "You haven't given me a reason to trust you," she replied, her voice steady, arms crossed defiantly. "I understand that," he said. "But we're in more danger than you realize. They don't want the truth to come out. They will stop at nothing. Time is running out." A shiver danced down Emily's spine. "And what does that mean for my mother?" "I'll protect her too," he promised, conviction lacing his words. "But you need to come with me. I can show you what the past really holds, and we must do it now." Emily looked to the woman beside her, who seemed torn between skepticism and acceptance. "What do we do?" "Follow your instincts," she said gently, squeezing Emily's hand. "You have to feel what's right for you." Emily's mind raced through possibilities. There was so much at stake: her mother, Sarah, this man's intentions. The shadows of the past stretched before her, daunting yet full of potential. "I'll go with you," she said finally, her heart pounding with resolve. "But I want my mother with us." "Done," the man said earnestly. "I'll make sure she knows you're okay, and then we'll figure this out together." As they stepped into the night, the uncertainty remained thick in the air, but Emily felt resolve strengthen inside her. This was her story, and she would take ownership of it. She had already begun to fight for the truth. She wouldn't stop until she uncovered every piece of her family's puzzle. The night felt electric, the world before her blank, waiting for her to create a life beyond fear. Emily was ready to reclaim her family, to bridge the expanse of lost connections, and finally piece together the brightest colors of her life. No more hiding. This was just the beginning. Together they would reclaim the truth, as complicated and beautiful as it was meant to be. Make that leap, Emily thought this time, into something astonishingly real, where love and understanding awaited. For the first time she felt free, ready to embrace whoever she could become on the other side of the unknown. Now, with the dawn of possibility brightening the horizon, Emily stepped forward with conviction. This was her moment. She would find Sarah. She would rebuild connections. And she would become the woman she always wanted to be. One filled with resilience, courage, and boundless love. But it would only happen if she and her family could confront the shadows together. So as they set off into the dark, she held tightly to the hope that guided her, the fervent desire for a future defined by love, connection, and ultimately healing. United by purpose, ready for whatever lay ahead, they became a force that could not be ignored. And once they had crossed this threshold into truth, nothing would ever be able to shatter their new beginning. Emily was finally home. And this was just the start. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm's hunger and help us grow. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending below. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.